everyone. Welcome back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
This is episode number 99. Aaron, I know we're not really doing the whole number thing with the jerseys anymore, but how could we skip on the great one, number 99?
I was going to say, 100 sounds great, but 99 is the great one. So let's pay homage to that. And if you don't know who we're talking about, you are a fan post 2000.
That is true. Well, that would be true. But regardless, we're actually not here to talk about him today. We're here to talk about the San Jose Sharks with their second win of the season, coming just moments ago, an overtime game against the St. Louis Blues, the second game of that little mini series there. This one, a very different game than the first game they played against the Blues. The first game, 5-4, I believe, was the final score. Lots of scoring back and forth, not a whole lot of defense playing there. You got to imagine that the coaching staffs on each respective team were saying, hey, we got to tighten this up, and that's exactly what happened in this game here. Again, a 1-2 final. It was 1-1 going into overtime, and of course, Tomas Hertl gets the goal in the fourth round of the shootout to send the Sharks back with 2 points. So on that little whole road trip for the season, I should say, so far, 4 games up, 4 points. Not great, but not bad, especially considering where everyone figured the Sharks would be.
Yeah, not terrible. I mean, I think I said before going into this series, I would be happy with the split. And it's not exactly a split because the shootout win gives St. Louis the extra point. So they came out with 3 points. We came out with 2. More games like that, that's going to hurt the division overall just because there's more points going up on the board than just 2, which is why I think the NHL should have, maybe even just for this season, why not drastically change the point system and see how that goes on a shortened season? 3 points for a regulation win, 2 points for a overtime or shootout win, and 1 point for a shootout or overtime loss, I guess it would be. I think that would have been better because that puts 3 points. Every game is worth 3 points. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Different tangent.
If a shootout win is worth less than an overtime win, then it should be a 5-point swing, not just 3. It should be 5 for the thing, 4, and then 3 for the
that's too much math.
For shootout, and then so on and so forth. If you really want to distinguish the difference between overtime and shootout, that's what I would do. Regardless, we're not talking about rule changes. Let's go ahead and kind of recap the first game against the St. Louis Blues. Again, that one was a 5-4 game. Obviously, the Blues taking that one in regulation, unfortunately. And yeah, it was just one of those games where, gosh, there was a whole lot going on, defensive breakdowns left and right. There was a lot of scoring, but you kind of have to play both sides of the puck, right? And in this case, the Sharks weren't doing that. We heard Coach Bob Boughner talking about it afterwards and saying that there was a lot of areas where they needed to clean up. But honestly, he said the defensive zone, he thought it wasn't as bad as many people would think. They were turning the puck over and letting them rush in from other zones, and that's where the problem was. The problem didn't lie so much in their defensive play once they were set up and in their zone. He said that was actually not bad. But, just turning the puck over in the neutral zone or basically dumping the puck in, giving them the puck, and then allowing them to break in. So they kind of cleaned up a lot of that tonight too, I felt. So what did you think in terms of that first game? How did you see it? How did the Sharks play?
I thought the first period they looked okay. Dubnyk, I thought, looked very strong. He made a couple of strong saves, not just in the first period, but I think throughout the game he looked pretty sharp. That got me a little bit more excited about him because he had, kind of a long layoff too. I guess he kind of played in the playoffs, but I don't think he was playing. I think he was second fiddle behind former Sharks goalie. Was it? Stalock, yes, thank you. I thought he played well. I want to give him a little bit of credit. Granted, he gave up 5 goals, but a lot of those were not his fault. I think it was defensive breakdowns. And part of this, we've been talking about it. Everyone's been talking about it. It's kind of, they've had 10 months off of hockey. It's going to take a little while to kind of get things in. I don't mean a long while. I mean like a week or 2. And we are sitting at 1 week exactly from when they started. They started a week ago. So we saw tonight's game. They looked better than they did on Tuesday night. Tuesday night? What night is it? It's Wednesday? Man, I'm losing track of the days. This holiday, I had Monday off, and it just messed up my week. Just completely ruined me. So Monday's game, today's Wednesday. Yes. Sorry.
Real quick here, Nicholas Egan saying, the more you know. Nicholas Egan saying Paul's trying to galaxy brain a new standing system. Yeah, absolutely. Why not? But I just thought that was funny. And Aaron's apparently losing his mind. That's okay. The season is still young, just like the Sharks. We will continue to get better as it goes on.
Right.
Aaron, you talked about Devin Dubnyk here, and I was a little surprised in Game 2 of this series, Game 4 total on the season, that they did not go back to him. I thought he did a great job in Game 3, even though they picked up the loss, and even though 5 goals went in, he looked sharp. He looked stellar. I thought a lot of the breakdowns, 2 goals being shot through the defenseman's legs as a screen, 2 deflection goals, really hard to fault the goaltender on that one there. So really the one that was just kind of a scramble in front of the net, I think we'll be talking about that one a little bit here too, but that one seemed like maybe he could have done a better job of trying to get his bearings right and covering that puck up. But the other goals, I felt like, maybe you can't really blame this guy on it. I know I'm kind of more of a goalie apologist and everybody says that, but hey, guess what? It's not Aaron Dillon Jones. It's just goalies in general. And I told you that was the case last season. And here we are with Devin Dubnyk, and I'm saying basically the same thing. So, I feel like he played really well and he deserved the start for today's game. But, in the same way that Jones deserved the start for Game 2. And I guess Boughner saw it a different way. And, hey, it seemed to work out this time around. So no problem there. But Kevin Labanc, he scores his first goal of the season in game number 3, the first game against the St. Louis Blues. You want to kind of walk us through that one?
Sure. Yeah, he scored a pretty nice goal, and it was a tip in, I believe, right? It was a shot from the point, and he tipped it in. It was like almost like a change up, because it wasn't like it deflected in quickly. It just kind of changed direction, and it was going really slow. But he got Binnington moving from side to side, and he slid out of position. And all he could do was watch it go by. He was already completely out of position. But you could see the reaction in Labanc's face. It looked like both excitement and relief that he scored a goal finally. So that probably gets the monkey off of his back a little bit, at least for the next game or two, where he's not putting so much pressure on himself to do so much. Not to talk too much about tonight, but during that overtime, I saw him on the ice for a very long shift. And it reminded me of a game last season that I think it was him and Meyer stayed out for a long time. I don't remember the game or who it was against, but they ended up getting scored on because they were too winded to even get off the ice, just trying too much. And I felt like I'm yelling at my TV, like, get off the ice. You're way too far. You're acting like me in NHL 21, like it might be a pro. Like, I'm just going to stay on. And you can't do that in real life, obviously. So, I thought it was good to see him get his first goal of the season, get a little more confidence. I think his play is picking up. He is being a little bit less selfish, minus tonight in overtime. But it's good to see him get going. The Sharks really need him. Not so much he needs to, but the Sharks really need him to be that player that he keeps saying he is going to be.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you on that one, and I'm looking forward to Kevin Labanc kind of finding his game. There's, a couple tweets or replies to a tweet that I had, and it was just kind of out of nowhere. I didn't say anything about Labanc, but people just had responded, "Hey, Labanc needs to pick that puck up." Unfortunately, I was cooking dinner for my family at the time, so I wasn't sure exactly the play that they were talking about. But a couple people saw it the same way, that he just kind of let a puck go on the boards, and instead of waiting for Karlsson to get it, he just kind of should have gone after it, but I guess he kind of got caught like looking at it and then not really doing anything. And then people had taken notice of that. So looking forward to him kind of picking up the rest of his game, and definitely looking forward to him becoming the player that he says he's going to be. Like you said, the player that Doug Wilson is paying for this time around. So, again, you have this huge long layoff and guys are starting to get into it. And I feel like tonight we kind of saw a little bit more of that. We saw guys kind of getting into the flow a little bit better. They were playing much better. In fact, even in Game 3, you can see the power play making some good strides. Logan Couture scoring his second goal the second goal, I should say, on the power play there. And, kind of the defense kind of gets pulled apart, right? So the Sharks are passing the puck really well. They're controlling it really well in the zone, and they're kind of picking apart the defense. Are you seeing it the same way? Because it looks like the power play is way more dangerous than it was last season, and it's starting off the right way.
Absolutely. What I'm seeing is Karlsson's at the point, and he's by himself at the top of the blue line. And he's got Burns on his left side, and whoever else is out there, they kind of rotate around. Couture and Meyer, I think, are switching, and Kane. But you kind of seeing him feed Burns if he's open for that one-timer, almost like the Ovechkin office slot area. So that's something that you and I had kept saying last season that they should be doing, and they finally set it up to do it. But it's also, on top of that, not just that one-timer, but when they pass it down low on the half boards they're looking across the ice to the other side, and it's really opening up the defense because the defense needs to cover the shot, but that kind of opens up some passing lanes going across, which the Sharks, in this case, for the Couture goal, I think it was Burns, he slotted it all the way across to him, and he one-timed it in to practically an open net. So that was something, I know I read it on San Jose Hockey Now, something that Sheng Peng covered about how Rocky Thompson is going to change the power play and how this look is. And we are not endorsed by him, but I encourage you to look at his website and subscribe, because he has some very valuable breakdowns of everything the Sharks do. So he's got some great gifts in there of explaining exactly what's going on, and this was one of them. Couple of looks on the power play. This is a different look, different structure than what the Sharks have had in the past, probably 3 or 4 seasons, and it's working. I think it looks great, and the Sharks, at least, even if they're not scoring, they're putting up some good chances. I mean, in that game, the first game against St. Louis, where they were 2 for 3 on the power play, so they got 2 goals on it. Their power play is going to be surging up, I think, for the rest of the year. It's going to be much better than last year.
Yeah, keep on that trajectory. Only good things can be happening here. A couple things. Nicholas Egan says, to Aaron's point, LeBanc shift in OT was 1:45, way too long. 100% agree, and that's exactly what Aaron was just talking about. That's twice the length, really, more than twice the length that it really ought to be. Also want to call out Brash John, I think is how you say it. I made it to a live stream, all caps. So he's screaming it out, baby. Hey, we're happy to have you here, buddy. I have hopefully happy I could finally catch you guys in real time. Yes, we're happy to have you in real time as well. If you have any questions that you'd like to bring up that about the topics we were talking about, feel free to put them in there. That goes for anybody who's in our comment section here at the live chat. We love taking your comments. We may kind of skim through what we want to talk about first and then get to you guys, but we certainly do love hearing from you. So moving right along, second period. Oh, those second periods, Aaron. Everything seems to just fall apart. I don't know what it is. The Blues outscore the Sharks. What was it, 4-1 in the second period alone?
Yeah. They quickly tied it up. What was it? In the first 4 minutes and 9 seconds in, they tied up the game. That just completely derailed the Sharks. They lost all their momentum, all their hard work in the first period to get up 2-0, and it goes away within 4 minutes, like a flash in the pan. So it's a really disheartening thing. And I think even a couple minutes later, they rang one off the post, so they should have actually gone up ahead within probably 5 minutes of the second period. So St. Louis seemed like they were downhill or down ice in that period. So the Sharks didn't look good. But credit to the Sharks. They did score again to at least tie it up. And that goal by Burns, did you see that goal? That was such a power move that a man that large should not be able to do what he does.
Almost as if he's got some experience in close to the net. We're going to start a controversy.
Of course you are. Now, everyone, I mean, you're not going to be the only one saying that, too. Like, they should move him to right wing. He won't be doing that. I'm not going to get into that. Not going to get into it. Okay. Anyway, that power move was amazing. I thought, holy cow, I haven't seen him do that, obviously, in a long time, because we're used to seeing Burns at the point now taking bombs for the last couple of seasons and looking for tips or whatever, or just scoring. But that goal, man, so for those who didn't see it, you need to go back and look at it. He basically he got the puck in the slot area. It was someone fed it to him from down low behind the goal. He was kind of wide open. I believe it was a power play goal. That was the second power play goal. He kind of dipsy doodles the goalie and puts it up high real quick, real tight inside. So I don't even know how he got it up that high. So it was just amazing. It was like, holy cow, watching on replay, it was in slow-mo. I was like, that's amazing. He just completely juked Binnington out of his shorts. So yeah, great on him to finish that and not get stoned, in there.
I'm going to say he picks the puck up on his backhand and he's really in tight, and he just moves the puck basically the width of the net because he's got such a long reach, right? So he moves it all the way from one post, pulls it to the other side, and just roofs it. And just a beautiful shot. Amazing stuff by the defenseman Brent Burns in tight on the power play. I really do like the look of the power play. It's been great so far. And you're right. They finally listened to us, Aaron. They finally put Renzi in the Ovechkin office and put Carlson up at the point there. So, yeah, Burns, again, silky mitts from the big man with the beard, the Sasquatch. And then, unfortunately, we've got St. Louis tying it up with the scrum. So go ahead.
Yeah, it was kind of a breakdown coming back the Sharks' way, and people were You saw Carlson kind of get burned along the boards. I think he was kind of out there for a longer shift, but he gets burned. They get a good shot, a good chance. Dubnyk makes a great save. The rebound comes popping out. And you kind of see the Sharks players were trekking back, but they kind of overcommitted, and they're all just standing in front of Dubnyk. Nobody's picking up the trailer coming in, and the guy, I don't even remember who it was, but he shoots it, and Dubnyk made a diving save. I don't even think he had a stick. I think he just kind of reached out with his hands and blocked it down, but it's like he blocked it with his hands with his legs coming back towards him, and it kind of bounced off his pad and into the goal behind him. It would have been an amazing save if he was able to at least control it or just block it out. But again, it looked like the Sharks didn't clear the front of the net. They didn't pick up the trailer that was coming in, and they just kind of overcommitted. They seemed out of place. Granted, I think this was the fourth line. I think Handemark was on the ice for this one. But still, you need all four lines to be able to be responsible on the ice. So once again, that put St. Louis tied it, I believe. No, that put them up because that was after the Burns goal.
Yeah.
So that puts St. Louis up going into the third period.
Right. So we'll speed through this here. The Sharks tied up with 5 minutes left in the third, and unfortunately, I mean, it's good to see them bounce back, right? It's good to see them respond. So that's one of the things you want to see. That's a characteristic thing. That is a character move from the guys that are on the ice to not just roll over and go, gosh, we lost the lead again. They're just scoring on us again. We're just gonna glide through this, whatever. No, you pick yourself back up and you say, okay, let's start going back to work. Per Bob Bugner, saying the same thing about Erik Karlsson's game. He just needs to get back to doing the simple thing, not trying to make the home run pass every single time. And I feel like that's what the Sharks did right there. Right before they get back into the game, they tie it back up. They just, okay, let's calm it down. Let's stop trying to do these long bomb passes. Let's just work on one play at a time, and eventually we'll chip away and get towards the net. Well, they did that, and they score and ties it all up. Now, unfortunately, again, St. Louis scored with 9.5 minutes left to go, and that was, again, kind of deflating, and they hold them off at the end there. But, you can't win them all. I know we were talking about maybe being able to split this series, and obviously we had split Arizona series. So if you have to lose one and win one, and that's your split, obviously. So then, okay, if this is the one that we lose, then we'll come back with a better effort. And I feel like they did that in the second game of this series. So I thought, again, to wrap up game one, Dubnyk did play well. I'm sorry, game one against the Blues. Dubnyk did play well. I felt he deserved the start based on the fact that Jones played well and then he got another start. So I'm not sure why they didn't go back to him, but again, it seemed to work out in the end because in game four, of course, the Sharks get the win. So moving right along to that, let's just go ahead and start talking about that. Jones, he looked sharp tonight. I thought he was on point. He was centering himself well to the puck. I thought he did a great job in net. So, I mean, did you see it the same way? Did you see some little blunders? I'm sure people will be able to pick little parts of his game apart, but on the whole, I thought he did great.
Well, no goalie is going to be perfect. They're going to get lucky at some point. So even when they get shutouts, they're going to have some luck on their side. I thought he played great. I thought he looked sharp. He definitely looks like a different Jones this year. I also think part of that is the defense is kind of cleaning up more stuff, and they're going to be sharper, especially as the season goes on. They're going to tighten up stuff, and this is going to go around the whole league. This isn't just specific to the Sharks. Everyone around the league right now is not looking great. I mean, think about St. Louis. If you're a St. Louis fan, you get blown out 8-0 by Colorado. You barely beat the Sharks 5-4, who are supposed to be a much inferior team. That was a hard-fought win, and you lose in the shootout to them. St. Louis fans are not going to be happy about these two games. Just showing you that it's not just the Sharks that are not looking sharp. I don't know. I forgot what you even asked me. Again, I'm sorry.
Goodness gracious. I was just saying how you saw Jones' game, and it seems like you agree. So we'll move on from that. Actually, I do want to bring up one comment real fast, and I have to scroll up a little bit to see it. Oscar Murillo, I hope I'm saying that right. Greetings from South Korea. Awesome. We haven't even done a roll call, and he's already telling us where he's coming from. Just want to call that one out because South Korea, that's a new one. I've seen Australia before. I haven't seen South Korea. So, hey, thanks for popping in and checking out the show. So, moving right along from that, let's see. More aggressive power play, power moves from Hurdle and Meyer. Yes, I absolutely agree. Hurdle and Meyer looking very strong on their skates, especially Meyer. You could see him when he barreled down the left-hand side and he came right at Binnington. Unfortunately, I feel like he kind of just shot it right at the logo there. He could have done maybe a little bit of a better move, maybe pull the puck, across to his backhand and try to go far side post instead. Or, obviously the EK9 goal in, I think it was game one. I don't know if it's game one or game two now, but he just kind of pulled it in and roofed it on the short side there. Maybe something a little bit more than just putting it on goal would be nice from Timo, because he did have the defender beat. But other than that, yeah, I mean, him, Hurdle, and Kane to some extent, at least in this last game, showing their speed, showing their strength, showing their power. Unfortunately, Kane showing that he can take penalties very well as well. We'll get to that in just a minute. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Aaron. They had some really good power moves. So I don't know if there's anything else you want to say about that.
Yeah, they seem more aggressive to me when they have the puck. Instead of, I feel like last year they would have either circled around the net or kind of stayed around the perimeter and try and find somebody in the slot area, which led to a turnover going back the other way. So they're kind of they're taking more of a aggressive approach and going towards the net, which I like. I like it. It's more creativity. It's less predictable, and I think the Sharks kind of look more dangerous because of it. And
yeah,
Meyer, I feel like especially is gonna. Hurdle was already kind of in his own right. He's one of the top players. I think this is a good confidence booster for Meyer to get his game to where it needs to be and be that player that the Sharks have hoping that he was going to be when they drafted him in the first round.
And interesting that you say how they would kind of go around the perimeter instead, because there is a difference in having a big body and being strong on your skates. There's a difference in protecting the puck along the wall and being a real powering force, power forward, having that drive to the net really, and being able to use your body there instead, taking that pounding from the guys that won't want to let you into that area, right? That's high danger scoring chances. You can protect the puck on the board all day long, but unfortunately, not many goals are going to come from the boards. So it's nice to see them really kind of turn their legs and getting into those areas where it's dirtier, it's harder to get there. And it looks like both Timo Meyer and Tomas Hurdle are doing that. So I noticed a lot in the chat here, people saying, hey, EK65 not looking quite so bad today. So it wasn't just us. I felt the same way. I felt like Erik Karlsson had some very nice moves today. He was dancing around out there, split a couple attackers a couple times, protecting the puck away, using his stick, using his skates, using his reach, his hockey sense, getting the puck up and out. And again, we see him making these passes that hit the stick and then explode. I don't know if they have just not figured out how to handle an Erik Karlsson pass yet or what the case is, but this is something that we've seen ever since he joined the Sharks, is that especially early in the season, they have a real hard time handling his passes. I don't know what it is about that.
Well, it's kind of his MO too, going back to his Ottawa days where he never had a good start to any season. He's always, and maybe that goes to his training, maybe it goes to he's just not in shape or ready, but it always takes about a week or two, and then he's hitting his stride and becoming that best player that we have seen him. Going back 2 seasons ago, in his first full season with the Sharks, same thing happened. Remember that December he went on a tear where he had, what was it, 24 points in 14 games or something like that?
25 and 14, I think is what it was.
Yeah. Not that I'm saying he's going to do that now, but at least he's starting to feel better and getting into his groove. So I'm hoping, I was hoping that he wouldn't need another week or two to get into his shape or into his season, but he definitely looked better tonight. And hopefully this is the Karlsson that we're going to see and he doesn't get hurt. If he gets hurt, man, the whole fan base is going to turn on him so bad, so quick. It's going to be unreal. Everyone's going to say, I told you so. Doug Wilson, you should be fired. Ah!
Is that the sound they make?
Yes, every time. Ah! Every time.
All right, well, I'm going to read this next comment in that voice. Taylor Kearney, Kane needs to be more disciplined. No, you're absolutely right, and that's our next topic here is EK9 with, I think it was 4 penalties on the night.
Brutal.
Okay, let's go back to when maybe even a season or even 2 seasons ago with Evander Kane. One of the things I had said was, I understand that he's that guy. He's like that snipe forcer, right? He's the guy that's the force to deal with. He's going to take fights and he's going to be the intimidating guy, but he's also got a really good shot and he's that power forward type, right? So he's got a good mix of both. And I said, Well, I'd rather see him out of the penalty box and using the skills, right? I'd rather see him doing that. And tonight was got like the quintessential, like, not what I want to see night from EK9. The guy is just too talented to be spending that much time in the penalty box. And beyond that, I mean, he took penalties when they were on the power play, and it totally kills momentum, especially when your power play has been doing fairly well. Now, I think Cures had said they were 0 for 6 at one point during the power play, but they had only had like 8 minutes of power play time. You do the math, 8 minutes of power play time should be 4 penalties, not 6. So where'd that extra time go? Well, Evander Kane kind of blew it for them. So it's just unfortunate, you know. I don't know what else this guy needs to do or get through his head to just stop taking these goofy little penalties where he just trips a guy off the face-off, or I think he slashed Bennington at one point. Just silly things like that, man. Beat him on the scoreboard. So I don't know. Is this guy more of a liability? I mean, I don't think he is, but is he becoming more of a liability now?
No, I don't think so. I think this is exactly who Evander Kane is. This is his game, and I have no problem with it. I know exactly. I like it. I think Evander Kane, this is who he is. He's going to be a 30-goal scorer who gets close to 100 penalty minutes, and I am okay with it because he's not going to be a 90 or 100-point player. We're just not going to see that. So I don't mind it. I think I like seeing the chippiness. I like seeing him get into the people's heads kind of like that. Now, that St. Louis didn't win the game, right? They didn't blow the game. I think I'm okay with it. I think we've talked about this before. I'm always on the side of okay with it. To me, it's more like an Owen Nolan type player, a little grittier than Owen Nolan, if that was such a thing, but a little more in your face and a little more like that.
I'll save the word gritty or grittier. I don't want to have any ties to Philadelphia here, but I'll save grittier for Owen Nolan. I think maybe a little less disciplined would be EK9. I think Owen Nolan, when he played, had definitely as much grit as you could possibly have on any one player. So I don't want to take any of that away from him. And I see some people in the chat saying, Nicholas Egan says, Kane was 1 away from fouling out tonight. That slash on Bennington was awful. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, you just can't do that. You can't constantly be sitting in the penalty box, especially when you are, you know, in the top 6 of an already sort of thin top 6. And you're just taking too much away from your team. We just have to have him to not do that. And I'm sure Bob Boughner is going to be sitting down and talking with him about that. Absolutely. So hopefully we see improvements there, as we've seen improvements on the team kind of throughout. And one of those improvements, Aaron, was, you know, even the fan base was saying, hey, we need more scoring from our bottom 6. What's going on? They're not really chipping in. Marcus Sorensen, finally not Snorensen, silences the haters there. Did you see this goal? I mean, this guy was in full-on Superman dive mode. So the puck, first of all, he digs the puck out from the low boards in the low corner, bounce off the wall to I think it was Brent Burns, and then he fires it across, and I can't remember if it was Ferraro. Ferraro puts a shot on net. Nieto gets a little tip on it, and initially gets the save. It kicks out to Sorensen. And Torrey Krug is kind of draped all over Sorensen's stick, but he just dives forward as if he was Superman, as if he was trying to get into a swimming pool, as if there was only one Oreo left and he was 5 feet away from it, right? This guy went after it, and they even had it on Twitter of him kind of diving, and they put a cape on him and everything else. It was really good stuff. But no, he just dove out there, slammed his stick at the puck, and bangs it in. And he scored it when he was in midair. Really phenomenal stuff. Great effort by Marcus Sorensen there, and nice net front presence, I have to say, also by Matt Nieto to get the tip on there. He swung and missed to try to get the goal in there, but it all worked out anyway. So you get a point from Ferraro, who's not one of our big 3, right, on the defensive side of things. You get an assist from Matt Nieto, who's a third liner, and you get the goal from Sorensen, who's been third, fourth line. So there you go. Some bottom 6 scoring, and especially even getting Mario Ferraro jumping into play as well on the secondary assist.
Right. So was that considered our fourth line more than the third line?
I'm not sure now.
I know, they're kind of mixing. I'm looking at the ice time. Sorensen had the least amount of ice time of all the forwards at 8 minutes and 57 seconds, and he's the only one that got the goal. That's efficient right there. Yeah. That's amazing. So yeah, I'd say that's probably the fourth line. That's great. That's exactly what the Sharks need. And if they didn't get that, if you're relying on your top guys didn't do it tonight. So you need that third and fourth line scoring. So it's good to see. It's another confidence booster. get Sorensen into Scorensen and not Snorensen. That's funny. I don't think I've heard Snorensen before. Had Mr. Sandpaper call me out. Aaron was a Sorensen hater preseason. I was. I just feel like at this point, there's better options on the team that are cheaper and younger. That's all. You too?
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I admit it. Even like I think it was after game 2, I think I had said, I'm just not high on Sorensen anymore. And you know what? Okay, he's got a goal. What's this guy's name? Mr. Sandpaper. Let's check back in a couple of weeks. Again, the way we do this show and the way we've always done this show is to not do it after every single game and analyze and break down every single one, right? We're kind of, more you know. The reason we're kind of doing these now is because they have like kind of mini series, and we thought it was kind of cool to break down, the games against the same opponent, right? That would make more sense as opposed to just like every single game for us, right? Jeez, yes, the more you know. Oh, we got it. So, yeah, come back and check with us in a few weeks, and we'll see. Because in the same way that we don't want to judge the team or any one player on just a game here and there, we look kind of like the body of work. I want to see his body of work in the next few games here. Like for the team, we're talking about maybe 15 games, and we'll see where they're at. Let's check back at 15 games on Sorensen and see what his stats look like before we start praising the guy. So, Aaron, anything else you want to talk about with the Sorensen goal, or can we move on to the shootout?
No. Let's move on to the shootout.
Okay. Well, before the shootout, the overtime period, lots and lots of possession by the San Jose Sharks. I felt they kept bringing the puck in, taking it out, bringing it in, taking it out, kind of toying with the Blues there for a bit. And I saw a couple nice moves. Erik Karlsson with the puck, didn't give up on it a couple times there. So it's not so much the skill that I want to call out here. It's the legs. It's the fact that he was like chasing after the puck, even like down the offensive zone. The two forwards were sticking back, and he was jumped in. The legs were moving, the legs were working. So I think we can finally happily say, yeah, I don't think there's a problem with the groin. I think he's 100%. He looked 100%. He was out there skating and moving. So I'm happy to at least say that. Unfortunately, all the overtime was for naught, and we had to go to the shootout once again, the second time in 4 games, and also the second win, both of them being in the shootout for the Sharks this season. So let's see, Perron, you have here the shootout. Perron drew a penalty, but you're saying that it looked like a dive, and Brent Burns felt like it was a dive as well. So you want to kind of talk about that one?
Yeah, this was in the last 10 seconds of overtime. Perron had a break on him. I was afraid, and I think what Perron was trying to get was a shootout or a penalty shot. So I think he definitely took a dive. He was leaning in on Burns, and then he just all of a sudden his skates went whoop, and Burns is like, "Are you kidding me, man? Come on!" So they called him for a hold, and they got a power play for the last 10 seconds. Now, I'm sure Burns was probably holding him. I'm not saying it wasn't a penalty, but Perron definitely took a dive. He definitely embellished it a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to get a letter from the league. Now, the way that diving works, if I'm not mistaken, a letter gets sent to the player without it being public, so nobody knows. But the second offense, there is a fine, and it's announced. So whenever you hear there's a fine for somebody who dove, that means they've already been busted once before. So being that it's the 4th game of the season, at least for the Sharks, I think, yeah, for St. Louis too, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a letter in the mail for embellishing on that one. I mean, that was pretty bad. I thought it was pretty bad. I still think it was a penalty on Burns, but it could have been, I don't know if they call it simulated. I think that's what's called in soccer, but it seemed like a dive to me. Okay. Trying to get a penalty shot in the last 10 seconds of the game or in overtime to get that row instead of the shootout win. You know what I mean?
It's one of those ones where I feel like if this was playoffs, they wouldn't be calling that, right?
Well, if it was playoffs, it wouldn't have been 3-on-3. So
no, fair enough. But I'm saying if it was late in the game and someone's leaning like that and just kind of, oh, I fell over, right? Probably not going to be calling that one. Well, I am going to call out
in the last 2 minutes of a third period or something, or last minute of a third period.
Yeah,
I don't think.
But so they probably wouldn't have called that. What I am going to call out though, and we'll get right back to topic, is Noah Claxton saying, "Zoom in on Paul's face, bring back the zoom." And super producer Jason with the super zoom was in studio. Thank you. I want to say 2 things about this. One, why would you want to zoom in on my face? Okay, number one. Number two, Noah. Don't you do it. Number two, Noah, obviously a guy who's been with us for a while, if he knows about the Super Zoom. So we appreciate that. Thank you for coming back and sticking around with us. Awesome stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's no regulation overtime wins for the San Jose Sharks so far this season, which is unfortunate.
That kind of makes me a little upset because I'm pretty sure the standings are going to be super tight, and they're going to need as many rows as they can get. Rows, regulation, overtime wins. That's what row stands for, if you didn't know that. As of right now, the standings, the Sharks are in 5th place, but they have no regulation wins. Us and Minnesota, who we happen to be playing next, have no regulation wins.
Maybe that's why they didn't have Dubnyk dress actually in Game 4.
That's what I'm thinking. When we were going to move back to that, I think they're going to keep him fresh for the first game in Minnesota as a redemption game.
Okay, fair enough. But the shootout, we didn't actually talk about the shootout at all. So it goes 3 rounds. Nobody puts it in. Interesting, though, Bob Boughner goes straight back to Donato, Couture, and then Hertl, I think, was the third one there, right?
4th one or 3rd one? Because he scored.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, he was the 4th one. I don't remember who the 3rd one was now. Oh, well.
Donato, Couture, LeBanc, Hertl.
There you go. Yeah. And Martin Jones shuts everybody down. They tried to go. The thing with Martin Jones is you should have the scouting report that you want to go high glove and not a fancy move and trying to go backhand like Ryan O'Reilly tried to do. I forget who the thing was. Perron was the first skater, and he tries to go on his blocker side, and Jones was having none of it. So I guess they missed the scouting report because that's the best way to try to score on Martin Jones is try to go high glove. Just kind of more or less head on, really. I don't think you really have to make a big move. The more you move around, I think the worse it gets for you, quite frankly. So, he shut everything down. Did awesome. And then Hertl just comes in. I forget exactly how he threw the puck in because it was such a rush for me to get this all together and try to do the show, put the show on and everything else, like grabbing a chair and everything else. So do you remember how he put it in? Maybe you can describe it to the folks here.
No, I don't actually, because I was getting ready for the show.
Good for nothing. Okay. Well, Hertl did score in some way, shape, or form, and it was awesome because we won. So the more you know. That's actually the less we know because we didn't actually remember how it goes in. But who cares how, right?
They don't ask how. Just how many.
There you go. And how many is 2, as in 2 wins, 2 points on the night. So the Sharks, again, 50% right now in terms of point generation on the season so far. So that is more or less what we wanted to talk about here. I know you've wanted to talk a little bit about the upcoming series against the Wild. I know, I don't know, but I'm 100% sure. So I know that Devan Dubnyk should be getting this start, the first one. I like the idea of, like you said, giving him the redemption, go ahead and throw him in there. And I feel like if he does well in this game, they will go back to him just in the same way that when Jones in Game 1, when he did well, they went to him in Game 2. And I think you're right. Probably didn't have him play in Game 4, even though in the third game of the season he played really well, just so that he'd be fresh for Minnesota.
Absolutely, I think. And there's a good question here saying, I just saw it. Would you say, this is from Brash John, would you say Jones has earned the starting spot yet, or you still think it's a 1A, 1B? I think it's going to be, no matter what, it's going to be a 1A, 1B, unless one goalie just all of a sudden takes a nosedive. I don't see that happening. I think that it's a great situation for both goalies because they both have something to prove. So they're kind of pushing each other. They also have Nabokov as their full-time goalie coach, a new system that defense, not just their defenders, but their team defense in front of them is a lot better than it used to be, giving up much less high-scoring chances. So they're going to be better. There's no way that they're going to end up with the same save percentage as they did last year. So it's a good situation for both of them. I think going back to the question of if Jones takes over, I still think it's way too early. I still think because the Sharks have the most back-to-backs in the league at 12 this season, they are just going to go back and forth. I think what we saw is Jones played well and got the win in the shootout, so he earned the right to get the next start. Dubnyk unfortunately played well, but did not get the win, so they went back to Jones. I think that's what you're going to see this season unless it's a back-to-back. On the back-to-backs, I am more than positive, even if a goalie gets a shutout on Friday, because I think all the back-to-backs are Friday, Saturday, Saturday they're going to go with the other goalie just to be fresh. The good news is, though, there's no travel because that Friday, Saturday is the same team, same location. A lot of times on back-to-backs in the NHL, or almost every time in a normal season, you're traveling. You're playing in LA, and then you're not playing in Anaheim the next night. You're going to be flying to Phoenix, or you're going to be flying to, Glendale, whatever. Or you're going to go to Colorado or something. That's not fun to travel into another time zone and play the next night. So at least the travel is less this season for those back-to-backs. I think it sounds worse than it is having 12 because you're not traveling as much. But I do think it's still going to be a 1A, 1B. And I do think Dubnyk is going to end up being the better goalie than Jones this year. I'll say that.
Glendale or whatever.
Whatever.
Can you be any more disrespectful?
For what? All 10 of their fans? Whatever.
No, that's Florida.
Oh, the Arizona's got far behind.
Arizona has 12 fans.
They should have stayed in Winnipeg. I'll say that.
Okay, fair enough. I want to call out somebody who's calling me out, actually, and it's Patrick Cabral. But Jones made 2 saves glove side during the shootout. It's not like Jones had no shots on the glove side. 100%, you are correct. However, one of those was that kind of funky move by Ryan O'Reilly trying to go backhand on the glove side there. And I don't even think he really got a good shot off there because you could see he kind of banged his stick afterwards. And then I'm not sure about the other one, but it was a glove side shot and he made the save. Great. That shows improvement in my mind. And that's something that we get excited about. However, again, if I'm aiming my shot and my NHL caliber shot, which I don't have, but theoretically, if I had an NHL caliber shot, I'd be going high glove on Martin Jones. Even if he made the saves during the shootouts, that's where I would probably be putting most of my focus. So there's that. Thank you for calling me out, Patrick. I appreciate it.
I do think I just got called out from Mr. Sandpaper. Such little faith in Jones from Aaron. It's not that I don't think Jones is a good goalie. I still think he's a good goalie and he will play well. But I think in the end, Dubnyk is going to end up being on top.
Yes. And so talking about the upcoming games, Friday and Sunday against the Wild. Now, you had said Friday, Saturday, and Nicholas, he can try calling you out again. Lots of people calling us out. What's going on? Saying not this weekend, right, Nick, but in the months coming, there are going to be Friday, Saturday games, and Aaron feels that no matter what, unless someone gets a shootout, or I'm sorry, not shootout, a shutout, that the goaltender is going to get changed between the Friday and the Saturday. That they're not going to be actually playing the same goalie back-to-back. That's what Aaron was saying. He's not saying for the Wild games that are coming up. I didn't mean to confuse it. It's not starting until the 26th of February. From that weekend, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, all 12. It's all 12 weeks in a row of Friday, Saturday games, back-to-backs. It's the most in the whole league. So, yeah, this week is Friday, Sunday, not Friday, Saturday. Yeah. So, and on that note, the next show that we do will be on that Sunday. So the cadence for us has picked up quite a bit all of a sudden. We were doing once a week. Then it was, once every couple months for this whole pandemic thing. And now we're like almost twice a week now, I think is what it's going to be. John Doe wants to know if you're still rocking the dad shoes. I am not rocking the dad shoes. I'm rocking the dad feet right now, and I'm not willing to show you guys. So that's all there is to it. I'm going to the less you want to know, but yes, the more you know. There you go. Aaron, what else do you want? I know we have picture time coming up. I don't know if that's the next thing you want to jump into here. No, well, let's talk about the games coming up. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I would expect the Sharks to pick up 2 wins here, honestly. If they want to be in the playoffs, they need to figure out ways to win against the teams that should be under them. And I do think Minnesota should be under them. They have a couple rookies in their team. One of them, I'm going to butcher his name because it's Russian. Kaprizanov? I have no idea, Nov. I don't know. He's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. He's the guy that I wanted on my fantasy team and I couldn't get because somebody else got him. But he is great. So they basically have set up for themselves for the future, but then the future's not here yet. So they're going to be a good team, and they're kind of in the same situation where they have older players kind of phasing out. So I think the Sharks should be able to pull out 4 points in this series. I'd be happy with 4. I'd be okay with 3, and I'd be disappointed with less than that. Wow. Really?
It's time to get serious, boys. Let's do this. It's time for the Sharks to get some points up on the board.
I'd be okay with 2, happy with 3, ecstatic with 4.
Nope.
Okay. That's where we differ. I guess 3, we'll have to agree on 3 then. We'll both be happy with 3. Yeah?
Sure.
Okay. So 75% of the points, baby. That's what we're bringing back. You heard it here.
Yes. Yes.
All right, good stuff. All right. So are we ready to move on from that now?
Let's do roll call. How about we do roll call?
Let's do roll call. We already know one of you is from South Korea. That's awesome.
I did see one from the Czech Republic too earlier.
Wow.
Tell us where you're watching, and there it is, Kirill Kaprizov. That's the guy I was thinking of, the rookie. Where you're watching? What you got it?
And yeah, where you're watching from, and what shoes you're wearing, because I'm getting called out for dad shoes. I see in there someone says I'm probably wearing Crocs. How dare you, sir? How dare you
know? How did they know?
Yeah, what kind of shoes? That's what I want to know.
I'm wearing my Pumas right now.
Scott, you're on my naughty list, Scott.
My suede Pumas. I don't think I can really lift my foot up. No, I'll stick my shoe up. There you go.
There you go. Yes, hip and cool, Mr. Aaron. There, slippers, Jason Hillier. That's what I'm talking about, buddy. We don't mess around. Stay comfortable. Stay warm.
I don't think anyone's in shoes right now because they're all at home.
Awesome. Okay, so while the roll call is going, do we want to do the picture time?
Sure, let's do picture time. Here's a picture. Super producer Jason will throw it up here. Here's a picture of Paul and I from way back. See if you can figure out when this was, Paul.
Here we go.
Or if you remember even seeing this picture. Maybe.
No, he's scrambling. There we go. Oh yeah. I've seen this one.
I think this is Happy Hollow.
Yes.
It is, right?
It is, because of the ice cream cone and the goat feed inside of it.
Yeah, it's the food that you give the little goats or whatever it was that was there. So there's me in the bottom left. Paul's in the middle with the big old ears and the shaved head.
Do I still have big ears? Maybe I do.
Big ears right there, man. This was in, I want to say it was kindergarten, maybe first grade.
I have no idea.
I think that's kindergarten, honestly, because I think I started buzzing my hair in first grade. I had the big old mop in kindergarten right there.
Okay, so I know the kid.
I'm gonna go out and say kindergarten.
I know the kid on the rock. Do you know the kid behind you?
Oh yeah, I know both.
Really?
Peter and Matt.
That's Peter? Wow. Okay, well, these people don't know who these guys are. But anyway, there's very young Aaron and very young Paul holding ice cream cones filled with goat feed. This is the content you came here for, people. Edmonton, Alberta, I saw on there. Someone from Edmonton coming in and checking out the show. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Sure, we go way back. That's all.
That we do.
This was before the Sharks were even a team.
What's that?
This is before the Sharks were even a team.
Yeah, that is true. All those Where's Aaron? All those kids have hair. Yeah, Aaron's in the bottom left. No, I'm watching in San Diego. I was born in the Bay Area. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, well, if there's any other comments or questions that you guys have, feel free to let us know, and we'll kind of pick through those. We're kind of done going down memory lane, I think. So, yeah, just let us know, and if there's a question. If you want it to make sure that your question gets seen, go ahead and use the super chat, and all those go to help supporting the show, obviously. Speaking of supporting the show, if you go to thefinfactor.com and you don't have a hat and you don't have shirts yet, or you don't have stickers, feel free to purchase any of those or all of those. So that you look phenomenal. Of course, we'll help you out. No problem at all. Yeah, so any of that stuff obviously goes to supporting the show, keeping the LED ring lights on, and paying for the cameras that we're still paying off. So there you go.
I got a good question here from C Notes. Do you think they will keep the lines from tonight and carry them into the next game into Minnesota? I think so. I thought tonight was a pretty strong game all around. You don't think so? Who would you switch out?
I mean, okay, here's the thing. If you take a look at at the bottom 6 so far, it's kind of been there's been a guy going in and out almost every game. I think it's been Gambrell made his debut tonight. Nason made his debut a couple games ago. Handemark came in, a couple games. Last game, I feel like even if they get the win, and it wasn't a decisive win by any means, right? But they did play better, and maybe that's enough for Bob to say, you know what, this group of guys gets it. That's all I need. I don't need the production right now. I just need somebody who gets it, because the production will come. So maybe that's all he's looking for, and maybe you don't see any changes to the lineup. But just going off of the track record of they're constantly swapping somebody out, I still feel like you're going to see maybe one change here and there. Do you think Dylan Gambrell played so well that he's going to be thrown back into the lineup necessarily, or do you think maybe somebody else gets the opportunity? Nason looked like he was chugging out there, but he was not really a whole lot going on with him. So, maybe they're going to give some of these other guys an opportunity. I like what they're doing at the practices. You hear about, this guy was playing between these two guys and it's not normal. And Bob's saying, don't look too much into it, but he's giving these guys an opportunity to practice with more than just the other taxi squad guys. He's given the opportunity to play with and practice with the guys that are in the lineup regularly, right? So looking for some other chemistry, looking for some guys who might be ready to take that step. So I'm not sure. I feel like there's probably going to be at least one player who gets swapped out. Now, will that be Gambrell? Maybe. Will that be Nason? Maybe. I don't think Sorensen's going to get swapped out at this point because he just got his goal. But if he hadn't scored tonight and he had kind of a lousy game, yeah, I could see him getting bumped out too for somebody else. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody's job is really safe, which is a good thing. I think it helps promote, guys stepping up and saying, okay, you know what, I have an opportunity here, because none of these other guys that are on the team right now are necessarily safe. If I put in the hard work, I might be able to get myself into this lineup. And it kind of gives the other guys the incentive to work hard, because they know that there's other guys that maybe don't have the same name on the back of their jersey as they do, but they know that the coach is going to let them play if they work hard. So it kind of gives everybody that incentive, and I like that. So, I don't know. I kind of still feel like there's going to be at least one guy that gets swapped out, kind of like a just because.
Yeah, I could see. I thought Gambrell did okay tonight. It was his first game. Did you see Nason try and clear a puck out of his zone tonight? And he like his legs just gave out from under him, and he couldn't. It's like he couldn't skate. It was like he was running on ice and not skating on the ice. It was kind of funny. And even Hedeken was laughing about it. Yeah.
I remember now.
Yeah, we did. I want to point out, thanks to Lundy, he actually gave us 2 different super chats. One was for $2 without saying anything, and then the other one said $4.99. At least I don't think it says anything. We will get 3/4 of the Wild games as wins. I'm guessing 3 or 4 points is what he meant. Lundy absolutely despises the Wild because he lives in Minnesota, and so that's all he gets to hear and get out there other than our show. So I just know that. So I'm sure. So thank you, Lundy, for the cash money there. Yeah,
there are 3 things I know about Lundy. 1, he hates Minnesota. 2, he loves Justin Braun, and 3, he's one of the most consistent super chat guys that we have here. So Lundy, again, I want to say thank you, man. Appreciate you so much. Every little bit helps. Feel free though to kind of save up what you would have done in super chat and get yourself a hat or a shirt or something, though, bud. We want to give back to you as well. So again, thank you. We do appreciate it, and we certainly love having you in the. There it is. Nice. We certainly love having you in the comments, bud. So go ahead, Aaron. Continue.
With taking more. Where am I going with this?
Sometimes I just like putting you on the spot. That's all. No, was there any other comments here? Like, when will Carlson get his first point? Yeah, who knows? I mean, I think there's a progression there, right? I think he's looked better. He's got his feet moving. We saw that today. He's got his stick working real well for him. He was keeping the puck away from guys, doing a pretty good job there. I felt he wasn't stand out necessarily offensively, but I don't think he was also stand out on the defensive side in terms of blunders either. I thought he played well. So as his game picks up, I'm sure he's going to be getting more points. He's going to make those plays to the forward core. That's going to help bury him, and he's going to get some assists. He
did get a point in the second game of Arizona. He got an assist in that game.
Oh,
so he does have
there
one
you go.
point. Yeah, I think he's doing fine. I mean, he had another game of 30 minutes tonight. I mean, part of that is because of the overtime. But yeah, the 2 overtime games, he's over 30 minutes. I'm looking at his ice time for both games. 32 minutes, 27 minutes, 25 minutes, and then tonight was 30 again. So that's a lot of ice time. I think he likes it. I think it's good for him. I think that's his bread and butter and what we're paying him for. There's your $11 million or $11.5 million is having a guy out there for half the game. Well, I guess minus the overtime, almost half the game.
So Ricky, I'm gonna slay that last name, so I'm gonna stay away from it. That's worse than the hockey players. Were you guys surprised Kane was still in the power play after the second time he killed it by taking a lazy penalty? I was shocked. I was a little bit shocked, yes. At the same time, I feel like you do want to have your best scorers out there, and when he's not taking penalties, Kane is that guy. He's one of those guys. That kind of stuff, though, I'm sure will be addressed by Bob Boughner, speaking with him directly through practices, that kind of thing. So during the game, I think, if that unit has been working well together and it's so close, probably the last thing you want to do is introduce a new guy to that system, even if the guy that you're taking out is the guy that killed your other 2 power plays. I'm like, 100%, I get that. But maybe just sticking with it and then maybe addressing it after the game and during practice and saying, hey man, we gotta clean this stuff up. And maybe in practice, by what I mean, not telling him during a practice, I'm saying is maybe having somebody else take his place in practice to get the message through, and also to give that player an opportunity to work with the other group to see how they're moving the puck around and kind of gel with that group as well. So if Kane does this again, you can throw him in there, the other player, whoever it is, more confidently, and not just kind of hope and pray that they're going to gel together, right? So that's a very good question, though. I do appreciate that. Now, Mr. Sandpaper has been asking pretty much since the beginning of the stream, and thank you, Mr. Sandpaper, for staying with us this entire time. Thoughts on Jumbo's injury tonight? Now, I did see this. I don't know all the details of what happened. Jumbo picked up the puck off the boards, tried to make a pass or something like that, and someone just railroaded him, and it looked like he was holding his ribs. I'm not sure what was going on. I didn't get to get any follow-up on it. It's not really Sharks news anymore, so I'm not super paying attention to it, but it does suck seeing Jumbo get hurt like that. But he was kind of doubled over. If you guys know what was happening with him, go ahead and let us know, or Aaron, maybe you know.
I do not. Their coach did say he's definitely going to cause the veteran to miss time. He got crushed by Josh Archibald in the final frame, and he was cradling his left arm. So maybe he dislocated his shoulder. Could be a shoulder injury.
Yeah, all I saw was the numbers. He was skating away from where the camera was focused on him in the replay that they showed, and it looked like he was holding like his ribs, but maybe his arm. Really, it's such a bummer to see Jumbo get hurt and not being able to play. He loves the game so much. The last thing he wants to do is sit out. So who cares about the Toronto Maple Leafs? I care about Joe Thornton, right? So yeah, I know it just sucks to see a guy who loves the game that much not being able to play it. He's going to be out for a while.
Yep. Another good question here from Ricky. I think right now Burns is playing better. He should get more time on ice. Burns actually got more time on ice tonight than Karlsson by seconds, but still, Burns had 30 minutes and 51 seconds to Karlsson's 30 minutes and 43 seconds. They're both getting fairly equal time. Karlsson's maybe getting an extra minute or 2 per game. I don't know. There's not much more you can really give them, Karlsson or Burns. So you can't it's not like you could play Burns any more than you're already playing him. So I don't know. I think they're doing it right. Going back to your point about Kane staying out of the box, or at least coming back on the power play after that. Don't forget what kind of player Bob Boughner was. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I think there's a reason Bob Boughner's nose is not straight. I'll say that. You can look up some highlights. He was a very rough player. Yeah. So I don't think he minds the grittiness and sandpaper on Kane's game and trusts him to not be stupid. So yeah, I'm sure they had a talk like, hey, Kaner, bring it down a little bit. Don't get a little too excited because you're kind of hurting the team. But I still think he's going to go to him, and you're going to go to your best players to get the game done or get the goal scored. So I'm really liking Evander Kane's game these days. I think he's probably consistently the best Shark, other than taking those kind of dumb penalties. In this game, I think the last 3 games, even before, he's been the best player. So I have no problems. Again, I have no problems with him doing that.
I feel like Tomas Hurdle gets that title before EK9 does.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll disagree a little bit there.
I'll
but
say Kane's the number 2 behind Hurdle. How about
okay.
that?
Hey, we agree. Yay! Brash John would like a compilation at the end of the season of every time that I put you on the spot suddenly. And the best part about that is the next comment from the Fin Factor, super producer Jason, says probably. Says I'd pay to watch that. That'd be hilarious. I'm telling you, it's probably going to happen, Aaron.
10 minutes of me going, what did this ask me?
Nice. I also want to see another Brash John comment. Have we gotten the shoe thrown yet by mentioning a certain trade? No, we have not, and we're not going to. We want to keep this guy's lumps down. Come on now. Be nice. Release the shoes, John said. John Doe says.
Sandpaper. Go ahead.
No, fire away.
Oh, Mr. Sandpaper, anything special planned for episode 100, which is going to be this Sunday? No. We don't. We probably should. Well, I'll get on that. What do you think we should do? The show?
Actually, yeah. You guys put in the comments what you think we ought to do. That'd be good. For maybe the Sunday show is show 101, and we squeeze 100 in as just like a highlights thing or something. I don't know. Well, super producer Jason doesn't look probably not gonna be too happy about that. Just by the look on your face.
He's like, no.
Well, okay. I don't know. Low budget episode 100 preview. Okay. He's taking. Oh, there's your super producer Jason with a sense of humor, folks. Well done. If you're listening on podcast, he basically made everything black and took everything off the screen and said the low budget episode number 100 preview. Phenomenal stuff. Love it. Clips of Lundy donating end of year. Yes, we could definitely get plenty of those. My goodness. Hockey puck versus soccer ball. I can't talk. Yeah, hardest shot. Hockey puck versus soccer ball.
We need.
If it's Aaron and me, then it's going to be Aaron, I think.
We need a radar gun, which I don't know anyone that has.
If you have a radar gun and you're willing to let us use it, I guess.
In the next 3 days?
Sure. Hey, man, we're all in San Jose. Except for the guy in South Korea.
Matt F., a real question. Timo needs to keep playing tougher game. That's when he's the best, like game 1 against the Blues. I agree. I think Timo does better when the game kind of gets a little rough and tumble because he's a bigger guy, more of a power forward. It kind of gets him into the game. You ever seen like pregame stuff where people slap each other in the face, kind of gets their endorphins going? I feel like that's a good thing for the hockey players to get kind of into the game early, either get hit or you lay a big hit, right? That kind of gets those kinds of players. Not every player is like that, but those kinds of players, it gets them into the game and they focus more and they get better.
Yeah. You know what else gets guys ready to rock before a game is smelling salts. If you've not seen the smelling salts episode, I'm not going to tell you what number it is because I can't remember, but I recommend it. So go.
Another Matt F. comment, Marshall for episode 100. Sorry, Aaron.
I say real quick? I just want to say that I like that he said, "Sorry, Aaron." It's assumed I'm going to be on the show, baby.
Nobody else. Yeah, it's not me and Marshall. It's Paul and Marshall.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, Patrick even saying bring back Marshall.
Wow.
It might happen.
Actually, it probably will happen. You want to tell them why?
My wife is expecting baby number 3 in 5 weeks from now. So I'm on baby watch. It could happen at any point now. Now it can happen. So I might not be around. And if I'm not around, you'll know why.
There you go. I'll make up a story.
Assume the best.
Nice. Baby Watch 2021. Super producer Jason pulling out all the stops. I love it. Brash John again showing his allegiance, longstanding allegiance to the Fin Factor, saying my best memory off the top of my head is Paul coming back after Game 7 of versus Vegas live show. Yes, that was also phenomenal. If you've not watched that episode, again, highly recommend you go back and check that one out. That was nuts. I came back, my voice was gone.
We still have people watching that.
We do.
We can see what kind of videos people are watching, and some of them pull that one up, and it's kind of funny. Like it's usually like about a dozen in the last 30 days. So
yeah, And for good reason, really. It really was a good episode and an awesome memory. I just also want to point out for Aaron here, there's a lot of people saying congrats for you and your wife there on baby number 3, and obviously congrats to you for when baby number 3 does come. Do you know if it's a boy or girl?
We do not. So so hit me with your best names for a boy and a girl. Give me your best boy and girl names.
I'm
sure my wife will be thrilled to hear these.
Matt F. Aaron with the hat trick. Yes.
Yes. That's good.
It's phenomenal.
So I should name the baby something with an H, and then the middle name should be a T, so it could be HT for hat trick.
My goodness, putting too much thought in it. You should just call it Chichu. Tons of hat tricks. There you go. All right, cool. Anything else you want to talk about or go over here, or any other comment that you thought was awesome, or do you want to just wrap this all up?
Yeah, I think that's about all I got. Unless you want to take any more questions.
Just doing a brief look through power play. EK65 moves the puck slow. I don't know about that. I think he moves the puck well enough. Burns has to return because they're off the mark. Okay. If I need inspiration, go back to watch your speech you gave, Paul. Yeah, dude, I was in rare form that night. I'll admit it. That was pretty good. But anyway. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I think that's good. That's it. So we'll let Super Producer Jason get some sleep, I guess. Girl Ashley, and they want you to name it Tomash Hurdle, I think.
Hurdle Tomash.
Hurdle Tomash. HT hat trick. Hurdle Tomash. Got it.
Perfect.
Well done. Good job, Matt. Matt with a lot of good questions. Usually it's Nicholas Egan that we're calling out. It's nice to have some other folks in here as well. Good stuff. Hey, I do want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and joining us. Again, we're kind of doing this after every 2-game series. So expect that on the second game of the series, we're going to be going live afterwards. We're going to put it out on Twitter. So if you're not following us on Twitter, feel free to do that. It's at The Fin Factor. Same thing with Facebook. We're there. We don't post a whole lot there, but if you want to follow us on Facebook, it's also at The Fin Factor. On Instagram, it is at Fin Factor. Aaron is pointing it up saying that, Paul, you're saying redundant things because it's there already. But I like saying it for the podcast folks, Aaron. The podcast folks, you have to think about them. Anyway, yeah, so again, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And for the crazy super producer, Jason, I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And this has been episode number 99. We will see you
Sunday night.
Sunday night, 100. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube.
Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts. You'll also find our exclusive